Hi, and thanks for joining me. This is the third in a short series of videos exploring configuration drift and updating configuration using MyST for Oracle Cloud. If you'd like to go back to the start of this series, click the card on screen now. In this video, we're going to use MyST's dry run functionality to see what changes MyST will make when we've got discrepancies between our environment and our managed configuration. Let's get cracking. I click Discover in the toolbar at the top of the screen, then Cloud Services. Our RxR SOA CS03 environment is the one we're managing here, so I click that, and MyST takes me to the summary page for our environment. See how there's an icon next to the provisioned version, where MyST is flagging that for my attention? If I hover over that icon, MyST informs me that there's a new version available. In MyST, the provisioned version is made up of the blueprint version used, the version on the left, and the model version, the version on the right. We can see that our change to the blueprint in the last video has made a new blueprint version available. We might not be ready to update the actual environment yet, but we can get a full description of what MyST would do by performing an update using dry run, where no actual changes are applied. I click the Actions drop-down and select Update. MyST shows the version it'll use for the update, which in this case is exactly what I want. If I wasn't sure, I could go to the history for the blueprint, and the descriptive comment used as part of committing a new version would tell me exactly what I'm getting. That's why we take the time to provide meaningful commit messages. Or I could compare two different versions if I didn't feel I could trust the commit messages alone. In this case, the version listed is exactly the one we want. I click the Do a Dry Run checkbox to make sure that I'm not going to make any actual changes, and then click Update to get started. I click the refresh icon so we can keep track of what MyST is doing while we're chatting here. MyST is now off and away, connecting to the live environment and comparing what it finds to the configuration stored in the model. When we run an update, the model is considered the source of truth, and any changes made would pull our environment back in line with the stored configuration. In some cases, we might want to actually pull uncontrolled changes from a live environment and consider that the source of truth. For those sorts of situations, there's introspection, which we'll explore in a future video series. And MyST is done with the dry run update. I click the report icon on the far right of the action summary, and MyST shows us a very familiar looking report structure, if you remember checking for configuration drift in our first video. Here, we're seeing the configuration changes that MyST would have applied to our environment. Our stock Turbo JDBC data source is shown in green as a newly created resource. Fantastic! Our stock assets JDBC data source is shown as well. If we click on the JDBC resource and expand that, we can see that MyST would have also reduced the max capacity for the pool from 45 to 20, correcting the configuration drift we saw in the first video. So that's using dry run to test an update to an environment. A great way to sanity check exactly what MyST will do before updating an environment. In our next and last video in this series, we'll finish up by applying these changes to the RxR SOA CS03 environment for real. Can't wait. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rubicon Red MyST channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for joining me. See you again soon.